Hi guys. So I want to talk a little bit today about scapular stability and how that relates to your posture and your shape of the spine, and try to break up some misconceptions that we have about what good posture is. So we know we don't want to, be hunched forward with our head way forward in front of our shoulders and our spine. Because we're exacerbating the rounding, the curvature of the upper spine, called hyperkyphosis. Now, the problem is our solution tends to be to say, pull your shoulders back. Well, you notice one thing that just happened right away is by pulling my shoulders back, I didn't actually change where my head position was, so I can still have plenty of rounding of the spine even though my shoulders are pulled back. But the second problem is that often when the shoulders are pulling back, they're not really finding their natural place. They're actually sliding together. And I wanted to play with trying to find an illustration of what kind of happens with that. So I'm going to have I have this pole here, and I have this strap in between it. So I want to imagine that this strap are the muscles that are connecting my spine, and let's say my hands are my shoulder blades. Now, when the hands are wide, the shoulder blades are wide, I'm creating some tension holding that pole upright. But if I slide my shoulder blades together, notice what happens there. I've created sort of like this slack and even sort of a forward push, or even a forward fall of what would be represented as the spine here. But if I widen my shoulder blades apart, oh, I lost my tension there. There you go. If I widen the shoulder blades apart, it creates that tension to hold the spine upright. It's a generalization, but I thought that was a pretty good illustration. Sliding them together, you're actually not straightening the spine, but allowing it to roll a little bit further forward. Pulling it out. So that's the idea. Finding a neutral scapula tends to mean widening your shoulder blades apart, and that's going to actually help create some support for your upper spine. So how do we find what neutral and stable scapula is? So here's just kind of a nice assessment and exercise that you can play with. And I'm going to pull up the back of my shirt so that you can actually see my shoulder blades a bit. Hope this doesn't bump the microphone too much. Okay. So I'll just take this off. So see the shoulder blades here, squeezing together, sliding apart. Maybe my shoulders are rounding forward, yes, but squeezing together, you see how that kind of like pulls my shoulder blades together. That's actually not a very stable place, and that's where the spine tends to kind of actually thrust forward more. So what we want to find is this. I'm going to take my right hand behind my back. You can walk up the back a lot, but if you go too far, it's going to be hard to find movement there. So you want to find where it's fairly comfortable. And the neutral place for the scapula, you notice how mine is really winging out? That's kind of an indication that this front of my shoulder and chest muscles are really too tight and is pulling that shoulder blade a little bit off the flesh of my back here. I want to find where this shoulder blade wants to live in neutral by widening the shoulder blade away from the spine until it flattens out. And so you can do this by putting your arm behind your back, trying to find the edge with your hand of your scapula, and then let it spread away from the spine enough until it sort of disappears. It just sort of flattens out and disappears. You can feel around from underneath too. And that shows you where the scapula wants to live in relationship to your spine. And you can just hang out here for a while. And this actually is going to start to energize the muscles in the front of your chest in a way, innervate them in a way that you can then start to elongate those muscles. So the misconception is that when I pull my shoulder blade back, I'm actually keeping my chest muscles really short. By widening out the scapula, I have the opportunity to then start to stretch the chest through lots of different ranges of motion of the arm. So start with that concept of just thinking scapula wanting to protract, meaning spread away from the spine until it flattens out. And then see what that feels for you. And get out of the habit of trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together. So anyway, hope you enjoy that, and I will see you next time.